Okay, skill 2, activity 2. Objective to learn how to count by fractional parts from 0 up to and past one whole. To build one whole with language and immediately recognize when the numerator and denominator are the same non-zero number, you have one whole. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to, first of all, these are the models that we're going to be working with. And let's compare just so we can see the difference, because this is going to be a more difficult activity than the last one. And here's why. The last activity that you did, it used bar models, okay? And think about it, on each one of these bars, it tells you, okay, that's a third. So whether we had 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, they immediately knew, okay, well, these are thirds, so 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. They didn't have to figure out, okay, what fraction is this piece? It told them that, and then all we did was count. So now we're going to a more abstract model, okay? So the first thing you want to do is to go ahead and have your students focus in right up here on this first one and say, all right, what I want you to do is color in one piece of every circle, okay? So they're going to go ahead and be careful not to give them the answer. Don't say, color in 1/2 of each one. Just say color in one piece of each circle, okay? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to color in one piece of each circle, all right? Now, when you say what fraction is shaded in, your kids who struggle, a lot of them are going to go like this. They're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4, right? And they're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And they're going to say this is 4/8, okay? Well, we know this isn't 4/8. What was their mistake? They're treating these, instead of each one of these as an individual whole, they're treating this as all of this as a whole. So you have to remind them, say, okay, we're right about one part. The 4 is correct, because remember, your numerator is your counting number. How many we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. We have to figure out what did we count. Now remember, if each one of these is a whole, right? And so if there's 1 out of 2 pieces, so this would be 1/2, and this would be 1/2, and this would be 1/2, and this would be 1/2. So what do we have? We have 4 halves. And again, we're not interested in saying this is an improper fraction this time, because we just counted, right? 1/2, 2/2, 3/2, 4/2. Okay. So for the next one now, you can go ahead and say, okay, ready? You can go ahead and do this. Say, all right, color in all of the pieces, okay? So have them go through and color in all the pieces. Again, this will be an easy one for them, okay? And you're going to say, well, okay, how many do we have? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. We colored in 4. And each one of these we know is a fourth, and 1/4, and 1/4, and 1/4. So I have 4/4, okay? Now, after you do this one where they have the whole, go ahead and have them erase it, because this is one where they're gonna learn something different, okay? And go ahead and say, okay, what I'd like you to do now is go ahead and color in one piece out of each one of these now. Go ahead and color in one piece out of each circle, okay? So color in one there. And remember, don't say color in 1/4 of each circle, because that would be giving them the answer. So it's just say color in one piece out of each circle, okay? Okay, now think about it. Think what we just did, right? We just had the 4/4. What do we have now? Again, let's take a look. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 pieces, right? Now, a lot of kids are going to be tempted to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They're going to think this is 4/16. But remember, each one of these is a whole, right? So we have a fourth here, and we have 1/4 here, and we have 1/4 here, and we have 1/4 here. And again, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. You also go ahead and say, look, if we go ahead and we put that piece there, and we took this piece and put that piece there, and we put this piece there, you'd also have your whole. So remember, you can have all the pieces together to make a whole look like that, or you can have the pieces separated. And when we get into mixed numbers and improper fractions, which is what we're doing, we're trying to set them up to have success with mixed numbers and improper fractions, all these skills will come into play, okay? And then you can go for the third set now, or the third numbers, you can go ahead and say, okay, go ahead and color in, say, 1 right here. And then maybe say, go ahead and color in 2 right here. And then go ahead and color in 1 here. And then go ahead and color in 2 here. And remember, go back to the fundamentals, all right? Remember our numerators, how many do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We know we have 6. Now we have to figure out what did we just count. And again, some kids are going to be tempted to count all those. Remember, these are all individual wholes, so all these pieces work together. So we know that, okay, if these are wholes, this is a third, and this is a third, and this is a third, and this is 1/3, and this is 1/3, and this is 1/3. So how many thirds did we end up having? So what did we end up counting? We end up counting thirds. So we know we have 6 thirds. And again, you could go ahead and say, look, we could take this piece and put that there. We could put that piece and that there too. Just showing them that you can rearrange it, and it doesn't matter the difference between the pieces or not. That's what it is, okay? All right, and then there's just one more model. I'll show you. And again, it's the same concept, just different models here. And by now, they should be pretty good at it. And you can say, all right, ready? Go ahead and just, you can, remember, you can have it structured where you're telling them, this is what I want you to shade. And you say, okay, go ahead now. I want you to shade in a couple. You can't color in all of them. Color in a couple of each one, then tell me what you have. So you could go ahead and do that. And then once they do it, they have to go through and say, okay, how many do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5. And then what did I just count? Well, each one of those, well, there's 4. They all work together. So this would be a 4th, and this would be a 4th, and that's a 4th, and that's a 4th, and that's a 4th. So I know that I have 5 fourths. And again, we're not worried about mixed numbers or improper fractions because we're just worried about the raw counting. When we get to mixed numbers and improper fractions, they're going to have such a solid foundation just from counting fractional parts that it's going to be a really easy transition for them. And this is what skill 2 activity 2, what the goal is.